Welkom allemaal bij weer een nieuwe aflevering van de Spokenjagers, de podcast van de Ghostbusters Dutch Division. En deze keer, jongens en meisjes, zullen jullie echt even beter je best moeten doen, want die gaat helemaal in het Engels. Want we hebben vandaag een hele bijzondere gast. Yeah, thank you very much, and we're back. And as I said, we have a very special guest, and it's none other than Miss Laura Summer.
Hi.
Hey, yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was my turn to speak
it was.
or not.
Yeah, sure it was. Yeah, it was. The intro. Thank you so much, Laura, for doing this, by the way.
Oh, sure. We have our reunion, our one-year reunion.
It's our one-year reunion. Yeah, we met for the first time in Amsterdam last year.
That's right.
That was
it was so memorable and wonderful.
Yeah,
it was. Cool. Yeah,
it was.
It's a beautiful hotel.
It was a beautiful hotel.
Yeah.
And the funny anecdote that when we went there and met you, we were all very, very nervous. I probably showed it less than the other two, but I was very nervous, and it's like, oh, I hope she recognizes us, and I hope I don't miss out. And then the elevator opened, and you asked someone, like, where's the... I don't know what you asked. And I heard your voice. It's like, oh, that's her.
It was not Laura. That was Janine.
It was like, oh, that's Janine coming up.
I was just... Yeah, right. And what was so cool for your listeners, too, is that we went to the bar area,
mm-hmm.
and it was in the morning, so the bar wasn't really open, but the bartender guy was there, and I asked him if we could have coffee and sit there, and he said sure, and then he comped the whole thing,
mm-hmm.
all our drinks,
mm-hmm.
which was so, nice. I mean, he was, so into what we were doing.
I don't think he had...
tell the people what we were doing.
He had no idea what was going on. He just heard Ghostbusters, he saw pictures, and...
Right.
And items getting signed.
He didn't know who sat on the bar.
He had no idea.
And we told him a little bit. She's a voice acting...
voice actress.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. We told him, she's a voice actress, Ghostbusters. And he's like...
He recognized the character you were signing on.
He recognized the character.
Janine Melnitz's
we didn't know that.
Yeah, well, we went was that the same voice? Is it like the same voice we had here in the Netherlands? I said, yeah, the original voice. We had her too. It was subtitled, but yeah, this is Janine from Ghostbusters. And he was like, okay. And it was just such a cool moment. And yeah. And now I took it upon myself. He's like, okay, Laura, I'm going to ask Laura to be in our podcast. And here you are.
And here I am. You are. And I should just say, so my MP3 is recording only my part.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's
just
correct.
Wanted to check because technically I want to be perfect for you guys. So
this is sheer perfection right now. This is awesome. This is just the fact that we're talking and doing this is amazing.
I have the same thing. It's all separate. All four.
Yeah, it's all separately. Yeah, it's all separately. It's different files, and I just edit the entire thing together, and it's perfect. It'll work. We asked some of the fans and the followers of the podcast, like, hey, if you have any questions, just send them in. So they did, and we had a lot of questions. Well, I thought there was a lot of questions, but a lot of the questions were in the same area. So if you hear your question and think, hey, this is not the way I put it, it's because we took all the questions that were in the same category and just made one question. So not to get a podcast that takes 4 or 5 hours. But the first thing I want to know, Laura, if I might be so bold, is how do you get into voice acting? Is that something you like get up and like, hey, I want to be a voice actress?
No. It's not a really personal question, so don't worry about being bold. So I knew I wanted to be an actress, but now we just say actor. But back then we said actress. And I moved to New York City, and I started taking classes, and I thought, I want to do commercials. And then I started doing on-camera commercials. And from that, the same agents that had commercial department had voiceovers departments.
Okay.
And I heard, that was really difficult. Now, they didn't have animation on the East Coast back then when I started. They really didn't. And but I started doing some voiceovers, and as a teenager, really. So and my voice sounded really young, and then so that became something I did as well as the on-camera acting, the plays and the movies and the stuff. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I got sent on a cartoon, which was Ghostbusters, and I got it. And but it was my first voice animation audition.
Really?
But I already had done a lot of radio, kind of what you would call like radio commercials. Mm-hmm. So that's how I sort of fell into it.
Oh, well, the way Janine was presented in the cartoon, and you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, this is very professional. So I actually thought it was like I don't know many jobs before, but that was actually your first cartoon job?
My first cartoon, but not my first acting job or my first. Yeah, so I've been on voice panels where the people were obsessed, the actors, with cartoons since they were children. I wasn't really. I mean, I liked cartoons. There were like 3 that I really liked, but I wasn't like obsessed with it. I was way more into Barbie or something. And so when they gave me a monologue to audition with, it wasn't even a scene, and I just did it as me, and I just acted it. I didn't put on a New York accent or anything like that. And I booked it. I booked the job, and they said, this is going to be 65 episodes. And I was like, what? Okay. It was just it was like I didn't really know what it was I had no idea it was going to be this, like what it's become, this franchise, this beloved character, all I just had no idea. And then when I got in the room and we recorded it after a while, and it took a really long time, that first show, because that director was later fired. The producer said, could you do a New York accent? And I said, oh yeah, sure. So that's how the Janine that we know and love came.
Exactly.
But I wasn't cast that way.
So you actually were able to like give your own twist to Janine?
Well, I guess if you talk, I hadn't seen the movie, so I didn't know she's doing a New York accent, but I am from there, and so, yeah, I guess so. I just did what I did, you know what I mean? Like if they said, do a Southern accent, stand on your head, you have to be facile, and, do it, and, so that's how it happened. But I wasn't, when I got to the job, they handed me, they sent actually a cassette to my house. Yeah. So I would match that voice, which was just like, hello, Ghostbusters, please hold. It was like that. And they had me started doing it that way. And then it wasn't funny. It wasn't really funny.
No.
So when I did, hello, Ghostbusters, please hold, it's funny.
That immediately now gives me goosebumps. That was so amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Because the Janine you portrayed, and I see that a lot on. I mean, Mark and I follow a lot of Ghostbusters news and things regarding the Ghostbusters, and a lot of times when people refer to Janine, like in cosplay or in games or in art, it's usually your version.
Yeah.
A lot of you.
I see that too. I mean, remember there was no social media.
Yeah.
When I recorded this, and it wasn't like people will ask me sometimes about the other actors, the other actresses who played, and I never watched. I would never say anyway. They're wonderful actresses. It was not a fun thing. So it was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know it was going to go on for. I wasn't even aware that it went on for 4 more seasons or 5 more seasons. I wasn't paying attention to that, and I just thought, well, maybe cartoons aren't for me. I mean, I really didn't know. I didn't,
But they changed Janine. Well, I'm going to say your Janine halfway through somewhere. I think season 3.
Yeah.
And what was? Do you know why that happened?
No, I mean I know what's been said, and I know they hired a company, and they wanted to fire everybody. They wanted to fire Frank Welker. I mean, I only know what I've read, what's been told to me. I wasn't It made the Los Angeles Times about how they had a picture of my Janine. And then all the comments that she was too trashy, her skirts were too short. This is the Los Angeles Times. One day, so right after I was told I wasn't going to do it, like the next Sunday it was in the paper. Or a few weeks later. And my girlfriend called up and said, it's all about Laura. Look at the Sunday Times calendar section. And it was ridiculous. I mean, really, Marcia Goodman, who directed Real Ghostbusters, I didn't speak with her for years and years, not because of anything. I just never saw her again. And then recently we become very good friends. And she said the whole thing was so ridiculous. Those people were fired shortly after, I'm not sure exactly. J. Michael left in protest for a while. They wanted to get, so I only know what I've read, and it's all online. People can find it. I don't think it's right for me to even,
no,
because I just wasn't really aware of it, actually.
As a kid, I can tell you that the effect it had on me as a kid, and I think Mark will agree that we watched the first 3 seasons, and it was awesome. It was it was like Lorenzo Music, and Frank, and Maurice, and it was such an amazing show, and it worked so well. And then they changed it, and after season 3, I have to admit, I kind of quickly lost interest.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I just it's not. I didn't like Janine anymore.
Yeah,
because the way you just how you auditioned, like hello Ghostbusters, that very soft, neutral kind of way, it didn't appeal. It's like, this is not Janine. This is not the Janine we love.
Did you ever did an episode with Dave Coulier, or?
Never. No. Lorenzo and I were let go at we finished 65 episodes, and we did the network first 13, and then we did the syndicated. And from my understanding, the 65, they had a lot more license to with the scripts, a lot more fun. That's and all that, and then I was sort of told in a half. I don't really remember, and so Lorenzo, I said something, Lorenzo and I were friends, and I said to him, I don't understand, and he just shrugged his shoulders, and, it was very weird to have that happen so many episodes in. Like, you hear about people being replaced if there's some kind of creative differences or, something like that. You hear it early on,
Yeah. Not 3 seasons in.
Yeah, that was very, very bizarre. And so I wasn't really, it was just like, okay, what's next?
So it was just another job, really. Just okay, this.
Well, at the time, I mean, it was a really great job, and it was a really fun job, and it. But at the time, I mean, I think later it really affected me in a different way. Like, it was like one of those hits of show business where you just go, well, that's another cut. I mean, it wasn't pleasant.
No, of course not.
But I wasn't aware, and there was no social media, so it wasn't like I was hearing from fans like, "Oh, we love you." I mean, I had no awareness of impact.
But now, I mean, so many years later, I mean, last year in Amsterdam, I mean, we traveled all this way to see you, and people actually contact us like, if you go, could you get her autograph for me, or could you ask her if she's ever coming to the Netherlands again? So the character that was discarded, if I may say so,
yeah, sure,
has cemented a legacy that you wouldn't believe, because everywhere you go, people's like Janine Melnitz, and then they show a picture of your Janine. Were you ever
great in the cosplay?
Yeah. Were you ever aware of that it was so big?
No.
Like. The short and sweet answer.
No, I even went to Comic-Con one year, and I went into a room because I thought everybody hated me.
Okay.
I thought like I did something wrong. It was never explained or any. It was really so. I only know what I heard later. I just. I mean, when I came from doing a movie or commercials, you knew it was going to be 3 days work or, for the day or, so it wasn't at the time. It was just like, oh, I don't, they just changed it.
Yeah.
Like that's all I knew. But at one point in Comic-Con, I went into J. Michael Straczynski was talking, and I thought, well, I should say hello. And I remember sitting and hearing him speak, and people got up and asked questions. And this is probably like 2005 or 6. I mean, and I thought, well, maybe I should get up to the microphone. But I didn't, because I got shy. Instead of, can you imagine if I went up and there's 2,000 people in the room and I went, "Hello, Ghostbusters, please hold," and people would have gone nuts, But I felt it was one of those things in life where you just don't know the answers, and some people, they just flourish in spite of it, and some people take it personally and think they did something wrong, and and that was what I did. I can understand, but in hindsight, you did everything so well.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of being part of this franchise, and when it wasn't like I was home watching Ghostbusters or saw any of these shows after they came out. And then I, in the last few years, talking to fans, which I never did before, really. I didn't. And I watched the shows, and I think I was really good. I have nothing to be ashamed of, and my performances hold up.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, once again, in later iterations of games and comics, even, it's always your version that returns. The one with the certain hair, the glasses, the attitude. It's always that Janine that you see in comics, in video games, in like board games. It's always that version of Janine. It's always comes back.
And I am the character also. It's in your mind, eh? Always in your mind. It's your voice that I hear.
It's always your voice. I have to.
That's so nice.
I have to admit, I in preparation for this, I watched a few episodes of the 4th season, and I said to my girlfriend, "This just feels weird." I mean, It's not Laura's voice.
Did you feel you were cheating on me?
Yes. Yes, I did. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but I have a hard time remembering the name of the other voice actress. I'm just every time I have to look it up.
That's so right, and then I got a call for Extreme Ghostbusters, and they said that we want to change back.
Okay.
And but I had to audition, and it was a different director, and then I was told I was going to do it, but I didn't do it. I don't know what happened. Oh. It's not like as actors you're told.
No.
You might be told something, but it doesn't mean it's the truth, and who knows. And so that didn't happen, but I didn't watch that show either, because my understanding is the visuals went more back to the original Janine artwork.
Yeah.
Where it looked, but because I recently did the for Spirits Unleashed.
I was going to get to that.
But I wasn't hired. Yeah, I wasn't hired by them. Someone I know approached me and said, "Would you do something for the fans?" And I said, I said, "Is somebody else playing Janine? Because I don't want to do it if someone else is playing her."
No.
And they said, "No, there's no Janine." And so we did a few things and put it online for the fans. And then, lo and behold, Spirits Unleashed, Ilphonic, added the what do you call them, add-ons?
Yeah, add-ons. Yeah.
To the game,
yeah.
And which was my Janine Melnick.
It was your version. It went viral.
Haircut, your dress.
Yeah,
it went.
Yeah.
It went.
So I will hope that I would get to voice Janine again, but who knows?
I am every day. I'm in the forums every day. I'm spamming it. And with me, other people like, hey, you should really just add a downloadable content DLC, Laura Summers voice pack, so you can have Laura's voice and complete your Janine. It would make perfect sense. And
yeah, it would. And I'd love to do it.
I don't think Ilphonic is against the idea, but they have so much to do right now because the game. I don't think. Yeah, I would call it a sleeper hit because. It was a Ghostbusters game. It didn't really... People were like, okay, this is going to last a few weeks, and then the fun's going to wear out, and we're going to forget all about it. But the game's still there, and people still play it, and it's still bringing out new content. And I think they're just so overwhelmed by it because when the clip that you made for the fans went online, it went viral in the Ghostbusters community. I mean, even Ghostbusters News,
so many viewers,
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters News and Disney, the Magic.net. He wrote about it.
They wrote about it. What's that?
Yeah, that was definitely fun. And Jamie, I'm blanking out, who created it, Jamie, but we call her Jamie. At first she wanted it to look like a potato video, and this is not I don't know. I said, okay, whatever you think, whatever you want to do. And then people were really confused at first.
Yeah.
And then, because they didn't have the hair or the glasses. So so then she said, well, let's just use your hair because I'm a redhead. And let's just use you and and I thought that was pretty good. And then when they did the add-on, then we did another one, hey, I'm back. It's like, and it's so good to be back. And I like that.
We love it. Amazing.
Yeah, and it was really fun. The people upstairs from me are moving. That's what that noise is.
We don't hear it.
Okay, great.
It's not carrying over. Yeah, that was
furniture.
Did you know that Andre, he's playing with your character in the game? Did you know that?
Yep. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I made my own.
I did not know. I don't know if I want to know that. Do I want to know that?
No. It's all respectable. But I actually sat down and paused a still from the cartoon and made the characters close to the character in the cartoon and the outfit, the uniform, the glasses and everything. And now with new content coming out, there's like, oh, you can update and you can like have new hair colors and different characters. You can make a new character if you want. It's like, no. I'll just stick to Janine. I'm fine.
Aww.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I'm Ray Stantz from the Real Ghostbusters. So and that's together. And some other friends of ours who playing also the game are Egon Spangler and Winston Zeddemore, and so we have a whole team
and Peter Venkman
together.
Yeah, we got the entire team. We got the entire team.
Oh, does Elphonic know that you guys do that?
I don't think so. I think
you should let them know.
Well,
I think we're not the only one, but yeah, it's we can do a shot.
Yeah, I know, but it's another. It makes the thing about the Ghostbusters community that's so brilliant is that it's global.
Yeah,
I mean, I had no idea, and there are people who just love the cartoon. They love Real Ghostbusters who might not be such a fan of the films in the same way.
Yeah.
So, something for everyone.
It is. It's a very open community. It's a lot of people loving the same thing, and the beauty of it, as you said, is that there's something for everyone. So you can enjoy every aspect, or just one aspect, or several aspects, and it's still all okay. That's what I love about Ghostbusters and about the community in general. And
it's great. And I was, before I met you guys, I was in Scotland doing a charity event, and I realized that it's a calling for so many Ghostbuster groups, and it's a mission of charity and doing that to help. This was they had a Make-A-Wish kid. He wanted to meet a Ghostbuster, and they were donating for Glasgow Children's Hospital, any profits, and I was too, and but I had no idea. It's a very different fan base than like I'm part of the Digimon fan base, and that's just very different.
I think the difference, that's how Mark and I see it, is that with Ghostbusters, it's not super, super huge or super pushed in the media. I mean, it's there. There's a lot of people liking it, but it's not like Star Wars, for instance, which get it gets all the attention every day. So we have to try a little harder to get the attention. To hey, here we're here too. And what I like most about it is the recognition from parents and children alike. There's like the fathers pointing out, look, those are Ghostbusters. Daddy used to watch that as a kid. And there's like small kids in their 10 years old, 11 years old.
5 years old?
5 years old, coming up to you with a proton pack and going, hey, I'm a Ghostbuster. And like, wow.
Yeah. That is something that in Scotland, I had I had a half a dozen dads come up to me, like 40 years old, and they had small children with them who were all dressed up. And they said, hey, I used to watch this, and now I share it with my son or my daughter. And that is so cool. And Janine is considered a role model for young girls. But I would just, as the actor, was not aware of any of this doing the part. And so I'm so grateful that my performance holds up. I go, gee, I was really good.
You were? Yeah. The funny thing is, this is just a little anecdote. Whenever I mention Janine and my girlfriend's in the room, she always does this little impression of your Janine. And I said, there's more voices. I mean, there's like Annie Potts and there's like other people who've played Janine. And she said, nah, but I just remember Laura for doing it.
Oh, I love it.
That's
great.
That's her voice
is.
Same for me. It's like I gotta admit it. If I think Janine, it's like I see the redhead with the glasses and the attitude. That's it.
Yeah, and a lot of style, a lot of spunk.
But
that's why you have the voice of thousands that we recognized at that hotel in Amsterdam when we were
immediately
there a year ago,
Yeah,
and we heard your voice. And
that's her. That has to be her.
And I wasn't doing a New York accent or anything. No. I wasn't going, "Are the Ghostbusters here?"
No, but it was just you came out of the elevator. You said something. You asked something. Like, oh, that's her. There's no doubt. That's her.
That's great.
That's no doubt about it. Do you ever get that? I mean, we had that in Amsterdam, but do you ever have that? Like people, like you're somewhere, you say something, people go like, "Hey, I recognize your voice from somewhere."
I have had that. Yeah, I had that, but not about Ghostbusters, where we were going to Europe, and it was, let's see when this was. Not the trip where I met you. Mm-hmm. It was like 5 years prior. And I met these girls. The plane had an emergency landing in Iceland because somebody was coughing and they thought they needed to go to the hospital. So we were flying into Paris, and but the plane landed in Iceland, so the person they were going to send them to the hospital, which I don't think they did, but okay. So I was freaking out, and I'm talking to these two gals next to me, and my boyfriend was sleeping, and through the whole thing, and Iceland looked like Mars, like where we landed, right? Okay, and then we go to Paris, and I'd never been to Paris, and walking all around, and I'm walking and talking to Rick, and we're talking, and all of a sudden I hear, "Laura, I heard your voice," and it was the two gals on the plane. Who were having a girls' trip, and they were very well-to-do, and they were like, "Come, we're staying at the George Saint. Come over here with us." And so we went and spent some time with them. Yeah. But she said, "I heard your voice. I just heard your voice." So that's happened, and certainly, years ago when I was doing commercials and stuff. But once in a while, I think I talk differently now. I mean, I think I'm a little grown up, and but I certainly can do Janine, and all that.
We heard. Yeah, we heard. We heard that. That was something. But did you for Janine? Because you said you had to put in the New York accent a little bit. But have you been able to put in traits for Janine? Like, okay, this is something that I added myself to the character, or was it just like, okay, this is how we want you to sound, and you do it?
No, they didn't. They just said, "Can you do a New York accent?" And then it's go.
Okay.
And then everything else is up to the actor. But the writing was so stellar, so it was very easy. You don't get these scripts in advance, so it wasn't like you have to fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing. Uh-huh. So you're basically reading while you do it. They might have told us, well, this episode, given one line, this episode is when there's some ghosts happening, but I don't even remember that. I think it was just, here's the script, we're going to do 2 episodes today, or, and go. Okay. And so you're just reading, and sometimes I didn't have that much to do. Sometimes it was just like, "Hello, Ghostbusters. Okay, there's something division at Madison Square Garden, and there's some ghost terrorists at the UN building, and hurry up," or I don't know, I don't remember. But
or in the episode, in the episode from the Citizen Ghost, you can't go up there.
Oh,
you can't go up there. You can't go. Oh, that I love. Do you remember what he's talking about?
No.
That's where the reporter comes in. And she wants to go upstairs, and you can't go up there. And you can't go up there. And the reporter says, "But I am going." But you can't go up there. And then there's the explosion. Now you can go up there.
Oh, now you can go. Oh, I don't remember that. But I can imagine Janine was like, "You can't go up there."
Yeah,
no, you can't go up there. Now you can go up there. Something like that.
That was it.
Okay.
And then you count down.
Now you can go up there.
Now you can go up there.
3, 2, 1, explosion. Now you can up.
Yeah, now you can go up there.
Because
now
we got
you
a
can
radar
go up
upstairs,
there.
so it's testing some stuff. Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
I
cool.
love that. Yeah, that was. But that was. I liked your portrayal of Janine. That's why I was asking, because I liked that. For its time, it was very revolutionary. I think because Janine was just not only the damsel in distress. She was also the hero.
Right.
She was a Ghostbuster. Yeah. She put on the proton pack, kicked butt, and she did that.
Well, she took care of business.
Yeah.
Even whether it was in the inside the office or outside the office.
Yeah.
So, but I was just doing me, really, and I was doing the lines as it was very close to myself in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't like some big stretch of, you know, method acting or, you know, I was very familiar, and I really attribute that to the writing was so good. And so it was just very easy. It wasn't like I had to make it funny.
No.
It just,
well, the writing,
it was funny.
The writing of the cartoon, I think, was stellar. The
Yeah.
stories were gripping.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I was always very aware that I was watching a cartoon if I watched Transformers or whatever. But with the Ghostbusters, it was different. I was my mother always said, you were sucked in for 25 minutes and I couldn't get through to you. You were just watching. Transfixed, taking it all in. And
wow.
I loved that cartoon so much. I got a lot of, well, Mark and I both, we get like a lot of questions like, what's so special about Ghostbusters? And it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's so special. The movie did it. The cartoon did it. It just reeled us in.
First it was the theme song from Ray Parker Jr.
Uh-huh.
Then it was the movie for me. And later on, there was the cartoon series, and that gave me the boost. That was, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I think the for me it started with the movie as well, I think it was 8, and I told this story to the podcast viewers, listeners, but you know, I'm going to tell it again. I was 8. The movie ran in a local theater, and I was not allowed in because I was too young. And my mom took me with her, and she said, "Well, you can go in. I'll go with you, but if it gets too scary, if you get scared, we're going."
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, sure. I'm going to brave through it because I got to see this movie. And then, of course, the movie opens, and within the first 10 minutes, there's this big jump scare with the ghost. And I was actually like, oh, my Lord, I still have to sit through an hour and a half of this. And I want to go home. I was so scared. But it left such an impression. And my mom always said, that's when you soldiered through that movie and loved it so much, she said, that's when I knew that's going to be his passion for life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great story.
It's I think my entire passion for Ghostbusters I can credit to my mom because she let me do it. She's like, you know, if you love this, sweetheart, go ahead and do it. You collect it, and even as I got older, and my mom passed away in 2008.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Well, she's missed every day. But in Ghostbusters, I always have the memory of her because she was the one who took me to the movies, and she was the one who got me the soundtrack, and she was the one who got me my first action figure. And
wow.
And it's just all Ghostbusters. So there's a lot of stuff in my life that's special, but nothing will ever beat Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. I mean, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what good parenting can do for children.
Yeah,
she was
she was always very easygoing on it. So, you know, if you love it, sweetheart, don't matter what other people think.
How great is that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if, you know, my father said, you can do anything you want in your life as long as you don't hurt yourself or hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
And, you know, how Ghostbusters is not harmful to children.
No, it's not. No.
Only for ghosts.
Only for ghosts. My mom always said, do whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy, as long as it's not illegal or hurting people.
Yeah, same kind of deal, right?
Yeah, same kind of deal. Just do what you want, just, you know, as long as it's not hurting people. So that's my personal take on Ghostbusters and on the Real Ghostbusters, because I think for me personally, I saw the movie, it was it was really gripping and it reeled me in, but the cartoon sealed my fate, because that was like, okay, now I'm never letting go. I love that so much, and that was part because of the stories and the great voice acting. I mean, your Janine is amazing, and everyone is still talking about your Janine, Lorenzo's Peter Venkman.
Yep.
Because that was
Lorenzo was wonderful.
He was. How was working with him?
Oh, he was great to me. I mean, I was younger than all of those guys, and it was my first cartoon. I don't think I told anyone. I just was like, I didn't know how to get to where I had to go. I remember do I take the freeway? And because I was from New York, and so you don't have a car in New York City. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I'm driving, and how far is this? Am I going to be late? Those were my concerns. And I knew who Lorenzo was. I mean, I knew of that he had been a producer of the Rhoda show, and so he was affiliated with Mary Tyler Moore Enterprises and stuff. And I knew, and then as I got to know him, and he told me that he did he used to produce the Smothers Brothers, and he was a writer for the Smothers Brothers, and which was a show here when I was little. And but he was great. He was a great person, really. And then your listeners might be interested in this. Years later, like from 2012 to 2016, I was on the Garfield show, and Lorenzo sadly passed away, and Frank Welker did a dead-on impression. I knew he was the new Garfield, but he was doing Lorenzo's voice. He wasn't, that's exactly what he was hired to do. And I remember being outside the booth and waiting. The little red light was on, which means, they're recording, so you can't open the door, and hearing Frank Welker as Garfield, as Lorenzo. And I thought, this is perfect. Wow. Lorenzo would have really liked that. And, but I love the cast. Wow. In retrospect, especially too. I mean, I just thought everyone's so normal, and the guest people, and but there weren't a lot of women. I mean, I wasn't. We weren't thinking like that then.
I don't think. Well, yeah, it could have been. I mean, but it was, the focus was, I think, mainly on the four Ghostbusters and on ghosts, and not so much on the girls, I guess, except for Janine.
No, but I meant in the production.
Oh, okay.
There were okay. Like the director was a woman, which was very unusual. I didn't realize that was kind of unusual back then. But the team, the producing team, they were all men. They,
Okay.
The writers, there were no women writers on the show, that to my knowledge, at all. But anyway.
Nowadays, that would be weird. It's like, okay, it's not on. And back then, it might have been uncommon, but now it's like, business as usual. It's like, okay, that's just a very common thing, which is good, of course. But you all, I have to touch on this, because I have to touch it because Mark wants me to ask this. I know, because Mark is a big Ray Stantz fan. He's like, everything Ray Stantz from Ghostbusters he has to have.
Yep.
Wow.
And of course, Frank Welker was, Ray. How was Frank? I mean, he's the man of.
Oh, so wonderful. He was Slimer too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He told wonderful, great, amazing stories. He had been a musician prior to voice acting. And he played with Elvis. I do remember a story about that.
Whoa.
And he was with Elvis Presley, and they closed down the movie theater just for Elvis and the band. Or maybe he was a stand-up comic with Elvis. I might have this wrong. I mean, but it's something I remember. Something like he was with Elvis Presley. But He was just wonderful, and I sat next to him always we sat on, I think, stools, and we had our scripts in front of us and a microphone. And then years later on the Garfield show, I always sat next to him because Frank was so great. If you had a question or anything, you just kind of say, "Hey, Frank, what do they mean here?" or whatever, and he just never make you feel stupid or anything like that. He would just give you some hint, and I love him.
I always, whenever I look at his resume, I'm like, wow, he did that too? That was him?
Yeah, amazing.
He did everything. He was also the voice of the Decepticons from Transformers, right?
He was one of the... Yeah, I think he was one of the... now my Transformer knowledge really is failing me.
The bad guy.
I think... Wasn't he Megatron? Or Soundwave or something?
A quick Google, guys.
Well, there's no doubt someone's listening right now and going like, "You idiots! It's this and this." But I don't know. I wasn't that much into Transformers, but I do know that whenever I look at Frank Welker's resume, I'm like, "Oh my lord, he did that! He did that!" And then you look it up on either YouTube or you take out the DVD and listen to it, and like, yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
I didn't know he also had the voices from all the ghosts in the Real Ghostbusters series.
Yeah.
Well, we all did that.
You have also the voice of the ghost?
Yeah, and I'm the voice of the... what was her name? It was like very early. It was like one of the first 2 episodes we recorded. So, it's the pink ghost. Snell, I think, or...
Okay.
It was a very high, but I did all the, yeah. When we had it would be called ADR now, which I do a lot of, and you're doing all the background stuff. They didn't bring in extra people.
Okay.
Like we did it. Yeah.
So, wow. Okay, so
Frank did also sound effects with his voice. Like
he's amazing.
Or,
yeah, I mean, Slimer.
Slimer, the chewing sound, And the munching.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Amazing. But at the time, I wasn't thinking, I should really pay attention and see his mouth and face and how he does it I move around a lot when I act. Especially, so much of it switched to home recording. Mm-hmm. And so in the closet where I am, which is a vocal booth, because clothes dampen the sound. And I move, Frank, I don't remember moving much. He just is brilliant.
I think what you meant, by the way, because I did a quick Google now, you meant Snark from the Ghost Are Us episode. That was
that was early on.
That was you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't notice that.
I never knew.
Oh, cool. Well, here's a good factoid for your listeners, right?
I never knew.
I thought you were at the voice only.
And I didn't think like I was
only for Janine, but there's also a voice.
It was early on, and
surprised
the way it worked on our contract was they could have you do 3 voices. They wouldn't hire another person, and it was early on, and they said, well, do this. Now, I had never done a cartoon show, so I didn't know what to expect. And so I just went up vocally because I knew I could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what else I could do. I was like, I want to keep my job.
So that's how it works. So they hire you if you're if they can use you for several roles. The main role, and then
they just hired me for Janine, and then they said, they actually said, "Is Laura? Can she do other things?" And they made me go. This is so crazy. They made me go to the director's house on a Sunday so he could hear other things to see if they would have to pay another actor to, I mean. That was kind of a weird thing. Like, the agent should have just said no. But I just did what I was told. And I went and I did some things, and I guess it was okay. And then that director was fired after the first day or two. it was very early on.
Okay.
Only I'm not sure why. He took a long time, and then they brought in Marsha Goodman, who's everybody knows is amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Well, because I was now like Googling, cameos. Did you know that you actually had a cameo in one of the one of the comic books?
What does that mean?
Well,
I'm a cameo.
They actually drew you, Laura Summer, in one of the comics as a bystander.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that good?
It looks good. It's from the IDW comic book line, and it's Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
And
okay, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, I didn't. Yeah,
I'm aware of the cartoon. I'm aware of the comic book. I'm not aware of the it's like an Easter egg of me. Kind of thing?
it's you standing there looking at the cab, and I was like, hey, that's Laura. And
interesting.
Yeah, I could send you the
oh yeah,
I could send you that if you want. I mean,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've sort of morphed into. There's some similarities of style with Janine.
Yeah. Yep.
And sometimes when I haven't done. I don't do cameo or anything like that, but I've done a few things for people, and then I didn't remember what Janine sounded like. So at first, when I did something, I went, I don't think that's really Janine. It was sort of like a cross between Marilyn Monroe, and I don't know what I was doing. And I had to listen to the cartoon to really match the voice because it had been a long time, and you want to. The fans know the voice.
We do.
So,
yeah. Immediately.
So recognizable.
It's very recognizable.
I think when you're here at a vacation on a trip here, and you're at an Albert Heijn, some of our supermarkets, you're going to talk, and now you're here.
Yeah.
Right.
You would immediately make it out like, oh, there she is. Yeah, there she is.
That was also happened with I ever met the Dutch Gargamel from the Smurfs. The voice.
Oh,
of
wow.
Gargamel.
Yeah, that's a very distinct voice too.
When you hear that guy talk, it's Gargamel. And
it's immediately.
You go to him and ask him for.
And it was recast with Dutch actors.
Yeah.
Than the American.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was some. I don't think did the Real Ghostbusters. I think they were. They had a voiceovers, Dutch voice actors as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think for the videotape release,
yes,
they were dubbed over. But the original,
I have no idea.
Yeah, the originals were aired in American, in English, and the VHS cassettes were dubbed over in Dutch.
Oh wow! Because I have done a lot of Japanese to English, like Digimon is Japanese, and you don't hear it. I mean, you just you're reading the English, and there's always like the sync is really important, and that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know who the Dutch Janine voice was actually.
Well, I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, I want to say. I have to admit, I never watched it. I have 2 or 3 of the tapes, but I never watched it.
Well, I hear from the friends and other people and fans that I've met in the UK. They got it later, but they're all big fans of the American version, and I like way more than other countries. Well, so I didn't even know about you guys in Holland.
No.
And at first, when you reached out to me and I said I was going, I think I asked about a hotel or something. Yeah, right. And I thought, are they going to come to try to, I thought it was like I didn't know that it was like you were cool, and I had no idea. Well, yeah, I wasn't sure, and then I was so glad should he come to the hotel where we're staying? I don't know. That might be, a stalker, or should I meet so we were going to meet someplace else at first, because I just, And then as we communicated, I realized, no, this is totally sincere. These are fans. This is, people who just want to say hi. And, but I wasn't really familiar with the fan base. I didn't do much of that. So
our side of that story was that I saw your post, and I was like, oh, should I ask her? She's going to Amsterdam. Should I ask her? And Mark's like, I don't know. Should we? Like, I don't know. I don't want to be pushy. I mean, she's on vacation. I was like, it's kind of rude. I mean, she's on vacation, and then I have this. Okay, but it's a now or never moment. If I don't do it now, if I don't ask, and I'll never know.
And it's with every Ghostbusters event.
It's always that every Ghostbusters celebrity. Yeah, everyone we meet, it's like that. Should we do it? And I contacted Mark and said, you know what? I just sent out a message. I asked Laura if she would be willing to meet up. And if it's a no, it's a no, which I understand. And if it's a yes, then hooray. And we were so nervous when we walked to the hotel and the guy said, "Oh, what if this? And what if that?" I said, "Guys, don't worry. She's really cool. I talked to her on Messenger, and she's totally cool." And like, "Oh yeah, you talked to her." He's like, "Yeah, I did. I did."
Oh, how funny!
yeah, I did. I'm no kidding, I did. And then it all happened. And as after that, I think you were going to Floriade, I think. To see something with flowers, you were.
Oh right, yeah. The tulips. And it was like the last week of the. Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but I think Floriade. I'm not sure, but
it was we had to take a bus.
Yeah,
to like an hour away to see where they had all these tulip beds and bulbs and selling bulbs to the world, and it was incredible.
Kitchenhof.
Keukenhof. I don't know where it was.
It was something. It might have been something Huff. I can find out.
I think so. I think it was Keukenhof.
Yeah.
But and then as we were leaving, walking back to the car, and Dave, who was there too, he's one of my members of the group, and he was like, as I closed my eyes, it was just I could hear it was Janine. No, I got a newsflash for you. It was Janine. That was this.
It was Janine. And we had such a good time. We'd still talk about it.
Yeah.
It was really just perfect.
It was.
And it made me feel comfortable about, talking to fans more and stuff and, being, doing that kind of thing. Because and it was just lovely. It was lovely.
What a coincidence, because Dave asked us a few days ago when we're going to meet you again.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a possibility to meet you again?
Well, I don't, they had reached out to me, the Scotland Ghostbusters. So, do you guys have conventions in Holland?
We do, yeah. We have
Dutch Comic-Con,
Dutch Comic-Con, Comic-Con Holland. So we got like two, and they're twice a year.
Well, I think reach out to the, the coordinators. That's Andrew, the dog.
We could give it a shot. I mean, I'm all for it.
Well, that's what you have to do. You say, we would love to get this person, and that is the way it's done. And then I guess if they get requests, then they reach out to the talent.
That's cool, because we are very pleased to meet you again.
Yeah, we would. I mean, let's just try to make this happen. Let's just try to make this happen.
Yeah, that would be great. Wait, hold on. I'm going to close the room that I'm in, the door. So just wait 1 sec.
Nou, dat is je antwoord, Dave.
Ja, Dave, dat was je antwoord. Nou ophouden, zeiken. Hè?
I'm back.
Yeah? Yes. I was just remembering that as we went to Amsterdam, and I was telling people, like, oh, we're going to meet Laura Summer. And as you might have known, in Germany, they always dub over the cartoons and movies.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Never the original voices. But the funny thing was, like, a German friend of mine texted me and said, "Oh, I don't have time right now because I'm on my way to Amsterdam to meet Laura Summer." And as I texted it, it's like, he has no idea what that is because they always dub it over. And he's like, Janine. I was like, what? How do you know? He said, well, we always watch it with the original voices.
The original voices, yeah.
Because of on Blu-ray DVDs, we always watch it with the original voice because those voices are so iconic.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me.
They actually dub it over, but they say, well, we prefer the original voices because of Laura, because of Lorenzo and Frank and Maurice. And that's, I think, as I was thinking about that, I was like, that's such a huge compliment. I mean, that they never do. They never do that. And then for this, they do.
I had no idea. I mean, when I watch something like a foreign TV series or something on Netflix or something, you always have the option of hearing it in the original language. Mm-hmm. I always choose that and just, read the subtitles.
Yeah.
Just because there's something that is really authentic, I guess, about it.
I think so. I think that, well, they call it lost in translation. I think a lot of stuff is lost in translation because certain jokes don't work. I think that, for instance, I have seen dubbed Janine versions, just not the Dutch one. And
you have?
I have, yeah. Because it's I'm sorry, I'm being unfaithful again, am I?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you got like the Blu-rays, and you got like all these different languages, and you just listen to like, okay, how does she sound in French? How does it sound in German?
But it's also on YouTube.
It's okay. It's okay, Andre.
It's also on YouTube. Yeah. But the thing is that none of it captures the sassiness that you put into Janine.
Well, thank you.
It's just not there. It's just actually just someone. I don't know if that actually is how it works, but it feels like someone is just reading the lines. And
well, we are reading the lines. I mean, that is true.
You put something in there.
But the idea is to, exactly.
You put something in there, and
sure.
But it's the lip sync too. You're looking at the character who's speaking with his mouth.
Yeah, it's off. It's off.
Yeah, sometimes that is. Yeah, I've done it the other way. We're putting English into the, and it's one thing for anime. Well, this is too, but they do a lot of this for Netflix too, with the, and sometimes that's tricky.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm about to wrap it up because we're on the over an hour.
Okay.
Just one last question: if they were to ask you, if you were like with the new Ghostbusters movies coming out and it's all, coming back again, if they said, "Hey, Laura, would you like to have like a cameo in one of those movies?" Would you do it?
Hell yeah!
That's.
Sure. I mean, I'm very proud to be part of this franchise, as I've said, and I try to always act with honor and be, grace, with any of my encounters and the fans really mostly are wonderful. There's always some oddball with the.
There's always one
to go into, but no, sure. I mean, I've heard things about a new animated movie, but I don't know of anything. I don't have any tidbits.
Yeah, I was so hoping that you got news that you're in the animated series or something.
Well, I have no news, and I heard that it was announced that it was going to happen, but I don't know of it going past that. I mean, I'm not saying that it hasn't. I have no knowledge of it.
Okay.
I'm afraid nobody has.
Nobody has. No. Ghostbusters Day was a few.
Then I think that it. I think then it might be on the back burner a little bit. Sometimes these projects they might be announced, and it just takes a while for them to get out. And the voice acting is not the first thing that they would do anyway. So,
is that like the last stage or somewhere in the middle? Or
no, but it has to be written. It has to be, a team. People have to be hired. The artists, that kind of thing. I couldn't even tell you, but it's not the first.
No,
thing.
It's okay. Okay. Well, Ghostbusters Day was a few days ago, and it was not mentioned or anything. So Mark and I just assumed that okay. This is going to take a while before this gets out, gets finished. So we're just waiting, playing the waiting game.
I'm available.
Okay.
Well, the animated series in '86 was 2 years after the original movie.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to wait another year.
It was a follow-up.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it was announced by Jason Reitman, so I don't know who owns what, or and I know that's what they're shooting now, but I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the big unknown. That's just always. Time will tell. I mean, our first mission is now to spam Ilphonic even more. And to make sure,
they wouldn't be
want you in the game,
yeah, we want you in the game.
The game, and then I believe Titmouse is Chris, who was the president of Titmouse. I heard that he's going to be directing the animated cartoon.
Oh, wow.
That's what was said at some press release, but I don't have any personal knowledge.
It's okay. We don't. It's not like a scoop or anything. It's just something okay. Well,
it's online.
It's on. Yeah.
Titmouse. Are you familiar with them?
I think I heard about. I know of them. Yeah, I know of them. It's something that I probably heard in passing.
Right.
But, well, either way, let's just fingers crossed and let's get you into Ilphonic's Spirits Unleashed as a downloadable content voice, and we'll take it from there. It would be awesome to see Janine behind the desk once again. Let's just be honest.
Or on the phone.
On the phone, it would be amazing. Because the thing is, we'll wrap it up after. But the thing is, once that little fan bit went viral, people believed it. There was a lot of people going like, oh, "She did the voice work. Oh, she did the voice work," and I was like,
"Yeah,
I don't think she did," because I think I asked you. I don't think she did, but this is purely fans.
No, I did it for the fans.
Yeah.
I did it, really cool. I didn't initiate it. I did it for the fans, and I thought, it came out great. And,
it did. It looked amazing.
It looked real. I mean, because Jamie just handed me like a bunch of lines and said, "Oh, well, here, this happened." I mean, I really didn't have any context for any of it. Except what she told me.
Those were all.
There was no script.
Those were all new lines recorded because there were some that said, "Oh no, they lifted it out of the cartoon." I said, "No, this is Laura doing it." Live, for the fans. This is not lifted from the cartoon because there was one line that I'm a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And that was lifted from Mr. Sandman episode.
Yeah, she lifted that on the little Janine figure. I think we, as for fun, but everything else was recorded.
It was amazing.
In my closet.
In the closet. That's never going to go away. That's never going to go away. Okay.
Right.
Okay, Laura, thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome.
And, well, if you want to, where can people follow you on Instagram, Facebook?
Oh, I'm Love That Laura, and it's LOVETHAT LAURA on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook.
You're everywhere.
On Discord, which I don't check Discord. So if you want to communicate with me, It's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook.
No more Discord. Promised. Okay. Thank you so much.
I have one more. But,
oh yeah, sure.
You have one more question. Go ahead, buddy.
No question. No question.
Oh. No. Okay.
I like to that you have a quote. To do it in your Janine character,
Sure,
and then
sure.
like promoting our Ghostbusters Dutch Division group.
Oh yeah, sure. What is it?
Yeah, it's your favorite quote, and then yeah.
Oh, I don't have a favorite.
Oh, okay.
I do say something. I do like this line, but I didn't. I sort of I read it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters are heartbreakers, kid. Get out while you can.
Thank you.
And so I don't remember. I think I tell this to a lady who's like wants to go out with one of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I think that was the context of it. And what's you want me to do a bumper for you guys?
Yes,
if you can.
What do I say?
Well, just whatever you want to say. It's Ghostbusters Dutch Division.
Don't.
Thank you very much for having us. In your taking the time. We'll do the bumper later. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We'll do.
Send it to me. I'll record it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That's really awesome.
Okay.
Laura, thank you so much for doing this. Everyone,
you're welcome.
Thank you for listening, everyone. If you want to follow us, Ghostbusters Dutch Division. It's on Facebook. We don't have Twitter anymore. We have Instagram. We have YouTube channels. So be sure to check in and. Thank you all for listening, and till next.
And be a good Ghostbuster.
Be a good Ghostbuster. That's what we're. That's what we're.
That's for
Laura,
sure.
thank you so much.